The following presentation is brought to you by the Realm Network.
Chicken head, chicken feet, chicken necks is all I eat.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this edition of Bucket Full of Chicken Necks. I guess this will be the last edition of Chicken Necks in 2015. God only knows what 2016 will bring. But tomorrow's New Year's Eve. I'll talk a little bit about that. But as always, before I get started, I want to take care of a little business. First and foremost, for the year, I want to thank my sponsor, kayfabecommentaries.com, and the great Sean Oliver. I urge you, and I mean this, check out their website, kayfabecommentaries.com. These guys do the best shoot DVDs in the business. They have a series of 3 timeline where they bring you back to a significant year in wrestling with a significant personality from that era. Number 2 is You Shoot, which are the best shoot interviews out there on the market. And I'll tell you why. Listen, I'm not going to pull any punches. kayfabecommentaries.com is a professional company. They pay good money to conduct these interviews. So in wrestling, when talent is making a good payday, they are going to give the company they're working for their money's worth. So that's why you always get shoot, never before heard stories on kayfabe commentaries because, the boys are getting paid well to do the interviews. Let's face it. I know that because I've done a couple of interviews myself with Sean Oliver and kayfabe commentaries. Also, there's the Booker series where they take great bookers in the history of wrestling and have them book other angles that they were not a part of. I know in the past, I've done this. Jim Cornette has done this. They recently did Kevin Sullivan, but all the great bookers of the past, rebook history, so to speak. A very unique concept that only kayfabe commentaries put out there. So check it out. kayfabecommentaries.com. I also want to let you know there are 2 days left, today and tomorrow, to join the brand for less than $1 a week, $3.95 a month. As you know, you get video podcasting practically every day. Right now, the only day we take off is Sunday, and that may change. You get 2 new interviews every single week. We churn out the content daily here. Less than $1 a month. I honestly believe it is well worth the price. Jeff Lane and myself are not shills. We tell it like it is. You're going to get the raw truth here. I bring a lot of my friends on here in the history from the wrestling business. We bring you behind the scenes. But you got 2 days left. Go to VinceRussoBrand.com. You could see it right there on the screen. Use the code word brand. And again, this is no long-term commitment. If you don't like it, you can opt out after a month. I mean, whatever the case may be, but you have 2 days left to take advantage of joining the brand. All right, there are a couple of things I want to talk about. And listen, my wife's home on vacation. My daughter's home on school break. There's a lot of things I want to say. There's a lot of things I'm going to say, so I might have to whisper throughout the course of this podcast. I tried to get everybody out of the house. I got yelled at. Nobody wanted to leave the house, so I have to do this podcast. I'm not going to be careful of what I say because then I'll be shortchanging you. But I'll have to whisper at times because I know there's going to be a lot of heat in some of the things I have to say as they pertain to my family and as they pertain to Christmas. But before we get to that, I got some news here that I want to talk to you about. First of all, huge loss Monday. Lemmy from Motorhead passed away. at 70 years old. Listen, I wasn't a big Motorhead guy, but I know what Lemmy meant to the music industry. I know what he meant to heavy metal music. Motorhead was an iconic group. And, Lemmy was a great personality. He was the face of metal in many, many, many ways. That's going to be a great loss, for the, for the metal scene, for the music scene. And I got to tell you, man, it blows me away as I sit here and, the ages of the, of the so-called metal gods, that I followed as a kid growing up. And, all of them are pushing 70 now. I mean, just the other day, Peter Criss, the former drummer of Kiss, turned 70 years old. And I couldn't believe it. I mean, it was just yesterday that I was a 16-year-old kid, sitting at a sold-out show at Madison Square Garden. And now, Peter Criss is 70. Gene and Paul are pushing 70. It's just unbelievable. Today, I was just online prior to coming on here. Sandy Koufax, the great pitcher for the Los Angeles Dodgers, turns 80 years old today. And it's unbelievable. You talk about, mortality, setting in and, just realizing, man, we're getting older and older and older. But the good thing about that is, your priorities definitely change. And what's important to you definitely changes, and you really start getting your life more and more in line, the older you get, because it is true. As you get older, you become wiser. And, there are a lot of people listening to this that are my age. There are a lot of people that are younger, than me listening to this. I hope to God there's not people that are older, for crying out loud. I'm an old man. I'm gonna be 55, next month. But things change as you get older, and you really do start understanding, what is important to you. And that's why, I mean, I got to be honest with you. As the years go by, wrestling really does become less and less and less and less important to me. When I was working for the WWE, when I first got hired by them in 94, I think I was 33 years old, something like that. I was full of piss and vinegar. I wanted to go in there and do the best job I can and make, wrestling great and make as many people watch the product as possible. I put my family on the back burner. I gave everything I had, to that company. But, it's 20 years later, folks. And, that's over and done with. And, that's not a priority. The fact of the matter is, I wouldn't even consider it an interest of mine at this point, because it really isn't. There are so many other things that are more important. There are so many other things that I'm interested in as time goes by. Listen, I love podcasting. I love doing a show like this. I want to develop this more and more and more. I want to break into radio. I'm hoping to do that here in 2016. So, priorities change. And I guess when you get older, you really want to do the things in life that you really want to do. That's why I get so pissed off, and I'm going to be quite frank with you, with the people who think they know me, the detractors who call me bitter, and I'm trying desperately to get a job in the wrestling business. And this, listen, I'm not. The wrestling business is the last place I want to work right now. I extended the olive branch to Vince McMahon because, quite frankly, I felt bad for him. I feel bad for that company. They've lost their way. In some kind of a consultant role, do I think I can help them and bring wrestling back to where it belongs? I absolutely do. But, is that really what I want? It's absolutely not. As I said, I'm very thankful for the Realm Network. I'm very thankful for the members of the brand. I enjoy doing this. There isn't a day when I don't feel like doing a chicken necks, or I don't feel like getting on here with Jeff or doing lions and tigers and and bears. When that day comes, I'm not going to do it anymore. But, this is very enjoyable to me. I'm my own boss. I say what I want. I don't have to answer to anybody. There's no politics involved. I have a very good relationship with Realm. I got a very good relationship with Jeff. I work my own hours. So I'm very happy where I am. But, as I said, getting all the way back to Lemmy, our heroes, are just getting older, and mortality sets in. And that's where I got off on the rant of, as you get older, you tend to do what you want to do in life. Guns N' Roses are reuniting for Coachella. Slash and Axl have not played together since 1993. And listen, I'm not a Guns N' Roses guy either. I don't dislike their music. I'm just not a huge fan of Guns N' Roses. I'm just not. But obviously, there's been a lot of heat between Axl and Slash over the years. These guys have not been together on a stage for 22 years. When you think about the money that they've left on the table over those 22 years, there's got to be some kind of deep-rooted hatred there. But they've made the decision to play again together at Coachella. They're going to be on the same stage as Guns N' Roses. And, I got to tell you, man, every time bands try to get back together, it's the problems that they experienced when they were together, they quickly find out are still there. This has happened on many occasions. Every time David Lee Roth gets back together with Eddie Van Halen and they're going to tour and they're going to bury the hatchet and this and that, there's always issues. There's always problems. I know when, Kiss did the short stint and Peter and Paul got back together. Gene and Paul got back together with Ace and Peter. There were problems. Those problems did not go away. Basically it's when you have personalities and especially egos, when they collide, those issues are just not going to go away. So, I would like to think that now at a much older age, Axl and Slash can coexist as Guns N' Roses, but, we'll see what happens. But keep fingers crossed. Let's hope that they get to Coachella and the plan goes according to schedule. Couple of things I want to talk about in the news. I don't watch the show Glee. I'm not a Glee guy. I know Glee is a very popular show, but in the last couple of days, the star of Glee, I guess the guy's name is Mark Salling, has been arrested for child pornography. This is unbelievable to me. Glee is a show that kids watch. And the star of the show just got busted for child pornography, where they found thousands of files on his personal computer with child porn. A lot of the child porn consisted of kids under the age of 10 years old. I listen again. This is a guy that's a star of a show that kids love. You would think there has to be some kind of interview process or some kind of testing to understand who you're getting in bed with here. From the way I read this, his girlfriend sold him down the river to the cops. The cops got a search warrant, took his computer, took everything from his house, and yes, apparently and allegedly it was true. And there were thousands of child porn files on this guy's computer. Here's the thing. It's hard to comment because obviously if somebody's dealing with something like this, they have a problem. They have a deep-rooted issue, and there's no way that I can understand it or I can know what goes through their mind. But I say this many times, we are all a victim of our environment and our circumstances growing up and our parents and where we were raised and our grandparents and, the friends who were early influences on us. So much of our background make us the people that we are. So I don't know what this guy, Mark Silling's background is. So it's impossible impossible for me to understand how a grown man can be looking at child porn with 10-year-old kids. It's sickening to me. You know, maybe I really don't want to understand its sickness or not. But the fact that for so many years this guy is on a show, you know, whose main target is kids, is just unbelievable to me. I mean, when you think about the potential of the kids out there that could be in some kind of danger or harm, if this character ever decided to take it to the next level, it's just really, really, really frightening. Also in the news, I got to hit the Kardashian clan again because the stuff is so amusing. You know, listen, I realize when I'm talking about them, it's exactly what they want. But let's face it, at this point, does it matter the amount of money we line their pockets with? I mean, does it really matter anymore at this point? This family has more money for the next 10 generations of Kardashians. I talk about it because it's entertaining. Because I can't believe how people, especially people in the limelight, especially people that have millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars, can just be so arrogant and so ignorant at the same time. There's a couple of stories that I want to comment on. First of all, you know, poor Rob Kardashian, he has to be the most woeful soul in the world. I can't imagine what it is to be with him with all these sisters whose egos are so freaking huge, and a mother whose ego is so huge, and a stepfather who is now a woman. I can't even imagine what this poor kid is going through. But obviously he stepped out of the limelight. He didn't want to be a part of it anymore. His health has gone to hell. And it came a little bit to a head yesterday. He was rushed to the hospital. I don't know if he passed out or exactly what the situation was, but after they ran a whole bunch of tests on him, they found out that he has diabetes. He had no idea he had diabetes. So I guess this was a good thing in many ways, because now maybe it'll be a wake-up call for Rob. Maybe now he'll get his act together and really understand that, you know what, screw everybody else. I got to take care of myself. I'm a young man and I'm going to be here for a long time. I've got to take care of myself. So hopefully it was a wake-up call to him. But the thing that fascinates me is hours after this, Khloe posts a picture of herself like with a sad face on Instagram. Can you imagine the thought of, okay, my brother was rushed to the hospital. They're doing tests on him. They found out he has a diabetes. Not sure what that means, but let me run to social media and just shoot a picture of myself on Instagram so I can send it out to the millions and billions of people that absolutely adore me. Can you understand, like, the mindset of this, that your brother's rushed to the hospital, they find out he's got an illness, and you're worried about taking an Instagram of yourself and posting it? There are almost no words for that. That's disgusting. Honestly, that is absolutely disgusting. And now, here's another thing. Kylie, the youngest one of the bunch, 18 years old. Supposedly, there's a stalker that has tried to break into her house 10 times, okay? Finally, the police said to Kylie and Mrs. Jenner, your daughter needs to cool it with the social media, because all these pictures that she's taking of herself are giving clues to these stalkers of her whereabouts. So they're following her on Instagram. She takes a picture. They post it immediately. They're looking at the background of the picture, trying to figure out where she is, and they go to that spot. So now when a guy tries to break in her house 10 times, she's going crying to the police and wondering why. When you make your life so public, these things are going to happen. Again, these girls are absolutely clueless. They don't have a brain in their mind. From the mother on down, these are the most ignorant people I've ever seen, that you're going to take pictures of yourself, with a house behind you or a landmark behind you or something, and then you're going to cry to the police when people are stalking you and trying to find you, when you're out there telling them, here I am, come get me, stalker, here I am, come take your best. It's ignorance. It's ignorance to a level that I can't even understand. I read this morning, and yes, this did bother me, that Hulk Hogan is now supposedly going to be in the next Sylvester Stallone Expendables. I got to be honest with you. I'm all for forgiveness. I named my first book Forgiven. I'm all about forgiveness. I'm all about you slept with your best friend's wife and there's a sex tape out there. I'm all about forgiveness. I'm all about, okay, there's a string of disgusting, horrific racial slurs. I'm all about forgiveness. Okay, you're forgiven. I'm all about that. But I got to be honest with you, when it goes to the other side of starting to reward people who have done some pretty lowly things in their lives, when it gets to the point of rewarding those people, at that point, I think it's a little much. Forgiveness is one thing. Okay, you made a mistake, move on. All right, you made a second mistake. We'll forgive you. We'll move on. But now when you reward the people for the way they conduct their lives, to me, that's a whole different level. And here's why I bring this up. Because there are so many good people out there that have never done anything like this, that haven't slept with their best friend's wife, that don't have a sex tape, that don't throw the N-word around. There are so many good people that are struggling and can't get a break. And when somebody who has all these check marks, against them, keeps getting opportunity after opportunity after opportunity, and the good guy at home is sitting at home, can't get a freaking break, has done everything by the book, has been a law-abiding citizen, is not in TMZ headlines every day. When that guy can't get a break, I have an issue with it. Forgiveness is one thing. Rewarding people for their wrongdoings is something completely different. And I got a problem with that. And you know what? Whether you agree or disagree with me, I really don't care. I had some idiot. I'm just going to be honest with you. I had some idiot today on Twitter basically say, oh, you get mad at people that don't agree with you. Can I be honest with you? Do you think I really care whether people I don't even know, I don't know what they look like, I don't know what their nationality is, I don't know how old they are, I don't know if they're a guy or a girl, they're a fictitious name behind a computer. Do you really think I give a damn whether these people agree with me or not, to the point that I get mad if they don't agree with me? I don't care if anybody doesn't agree with me, to be quite frank with you. My opinion is my opinion. Whether you agree with me or disagree with me, I don't care. So if you think in your little Nimrodic mind that I have heat with you because you don't agree with my opinion, listen, honestly, don't think so highly of yourself, because quite frankly, I don't care what you think. It's not important. Your opinion is not important to me. You know whose opinions are important to me? The people that matter in my life. My family's opinions are important to me. Ed Ferrara's opinions are important to me. Glenn Gilberti's opinions are important to me. People that know me and understand me, I value their opinions. If I don't know you from the boil on my backside, I don't care. I don't care if you agree or disagree with me. I could care less. It's not important to me. So get over yourselves. That's the way I feel about it. I don't care if you agree or disagree. Okay, let me go through a couple of things here. I want to go through my album of the week. And you're going to think this is a little lame because this is a compilation album. And, a lot of times I like compilation albums because I like the mix of certain songs. There are some songs I like in everybody's library. And let's face it, there are a lot of bands that have 5, 6, 7 greatest hits albums. But there are certain compilations that I like, songs that are put together a certain way on the same album. So even if I have all of the band's albums, okay, but they put together a compilation of the songs I like, I usually buy that album and I'll wear out that album to death. Now, I'm going to highlight an album this week, and I'm going to give you a little bit of a backstory. I love the Beach Boys. The more and more and more I learn about the life of Brian Wilson, it's just clear that this guy was just on just a different playing field. When a musician talks about music coming to him, listen, I read Brian Wilson's autobiography. I've listened to Brian Wilson's music for years. I've seen Brian Wilson in concert. I've seen Love and Mercy for 4 times now. There is no question in my mind that music came to this man. When he shut his eyes and he meditated and he did whatever he did, the music came in. He heard the music. There is no doubt in my mind. This is a genius. This is why I get so hot when we throw the word great around. Everybody's great. This one's great. That one's great. This match was great. My Aunt Tilly's great. My Uncle Albert is great. Everybody's great. No, stop throwing the word great around. Brian Wilson is great. This is a genius. Let's go beyond great. This is a genius. This is a guy that created music that only he could have created. I've been a Beach Boy fan probably going all the way back, if I have to maybe 1974. I probably discovered the Beach Boys when I was about 13 years old. I went to see them back in that day. I saw the Beach Boys when Dennis Wilson was alive. I saw the Beach Boys when Carl Wilson was alive. I saw the original Beach Boys. And I'm a very loyal guy. I'm going to support you. If I'm on the bandwagon, I'm going to support you till the cows come home. There's a great Beach Boy compilation album, my favorite one of all time. It's always that horrible glare. I hope you could see that. It's called Good Vibrations, the Best of the Beach Boys. This one is really not that easy to find. It's one of the harder compilations to find. But the reason why I love this album so much is every song on this album. This isn't the fun, Surfing USA, Surfing Safari era. This is the era beyond that. This is the era when Brian Wilson decided, okay, enough with the surfer songs. I'm not going to tour with the Beach Boys anymore. I'm going to stay back and I'm going to create a new sound and I'm going to create new music. And if you saw Love and Mercy, you could see not everybody was on board with that. But this compilation album represents those songs, that era after we got over Catch a Wave and you're sitting on top of the world and all that foolishness. And we really got down to some music making. Let me just read them off to you because these are all some of my favorites. Sail on Sailor, Sloop John B, God Only Knows, Darlin', Add Some Music to Your Day, Wouldn't It Be Nice, Good Vibrations, Do It Again, Carolina No, Friends, Surf's Up, and Heroes and Villains. This is a great, great, great compilation. If you've never heard the Beach Boys before, which I cannot believe nobody has, listen to this album. This is the same era I was telling you with me, like the soft spot with the Beatles. Wasn't the teeny bopper Beatles. Wasn't the Sgt. Pepper psychedelic magical mystery tour LSD Beatles. There was that sweet spot in between. With Help, Rubber Soul, and Revolver. That was the Pet Sounds era of the Beach Boys, where they got away from the surfing music and they really created some unbelievable music. Okay, let me get to the part you're all waiting for. Enough with this nonsense. I gotta whisper here. I'm gonna get myself in trouble. Okay. We all know we just celebrated Christmas. Listen, I kind of think I went on the same rant last year about the gifts I received for Christmas. And there was some lashback. Vince, you're shallow. Vince, you should be grateful that you got anything. Vince, Vince this, Vince that, Vince everything else. No. Listen, Christmas comes once a year. Let me tell you how I handle Christmas. This is how I handle Christmas with my family. Okay? Tell me what you want. Give me a list of what you want. Give it to me. Give me the list. I'll go out. I'll hunt down every item you want. And I'll throw a few surprises on top of that. That's how I handle Christmas. So I have the combination of what do you want? What's your wish list? Tell me what you absolutely want. And then I'm going to buy you what I want. So it's kind of the best of both worlds. The only one I don't buy what I want is the diva because she's not going to like anything I get. So, but for the boys and my wife, I'll buy them what they want. And then I'll go out and I'll add to that list of things that I want to get them. So now, one would think that since that's the way I've handled Christmas with my entire family, my entire life, one would think that they would do the same in return. That they would say, Dad, what do you want for Christmas? Okay, but here's the problem. First of all, nobody ever asked me what I want for Christmas. They never asked me. So what I have to do is I have to drop hints. And I have to drop the hints over and over and over and over and over and over again, hoping that they got one out of the 1,000 hints that I dropped. Okay? Because there aren't a lot of things I want. I'm a very simple man. You see this office? This is all I need. So I need very few little things to add to the office. So I have a list of a couple of things that I'm looking for that I haven't been able to buy. And listen, a lot of these things, you can't get unless you go online and you go on eBay. And I don't like doing that. I don't like putting my credit card out there. I don't know how to do it. I don't know if I'm, a lot of these times I'm bidding for some. Am I bidding for it? Am I buying it? I get confused with the buying on the eBay. So I don't like buying on the eBay, but I know that the items I want are on the eBay because I see them on the eBay. So I drop all the hints because my family is very eBay friendly, with the exception of the Renaissance man who still doesn't have a computer or internet, but he can go to the library and go on eBay. I've been looking for 2 albums for the last 6 months. And I'll be honest with you, one of them I saw in a store about a year ago, and it was $8 freaking bucks, and I thought it was overpriced, and I didn't buy it because it was $8. Since then, I have not been able to find the album again, and I'm not going to do it on eBay. So I go from record store to record store, check routinely to find the albums I'm looking for. The first album that I didn't buy for $8 was the Monkees Live 1967. Okay, I want that album. If you know anything about the Monkees and the history of the Monkees, they were actors who were hired to do a show about this band, the Monkees, these 4 musicians. They weren't musicians when they were hired. They weren't hired to be musicians. They were hired to be actors. Well, as they got into this role and the public bought into it and the public really thought they were playing their instruments, they didn't want to come across like Milli Vanilli. And especially, Mike Nesmith, they wanted to start really playing the music. Don Kirshner, who kind of put this project together, was totally against it. He went head to head with Mike Nesmith. Next thing you know, the Monkees are creating their own music. Don Kirshner is working with the Archies. So now they go out on tour, and now they have to play this music live. I'm very interested in hearing the album. I've never heard the Monkees Live 1967. So for all the reasons I told you, I'm very interested in getting that album. So I didn't buy it because it was $8 and was out of my budget. So I've dropped a million hints about this album that's out there on eBay for like $4. Here's the second album I can't find anywhere. Bat Out of Hell 2 by Meatloaf. And this is a hard one to find, but this is also available on eBay. This is a little bit more expensive. This is about $25. Okay, that's it. Those 2 albums I throw out there, that's it. Here's another thing I threw out there, but I knew this was far-fetched. This was like, this is almost like, okay, buy me Super Bowl tickets. This is almost something like that. Listen, AC/DC is coming to the Pepsi Center February 8th. I haven't seen AC/DC since I lived in Atlanta. It's probably been about 10 years now. I'd love to go see AC/DC. I tried to get tickets. They were immediately, sold out. So now, you got to go through the whole StubHub gimmick and all that crap. So I kind of threw the AC/DC out there, not thinking that the last thing that's going to be sitting under my tree is AC/DC tickets. That's it. Those were the first things. Those were the first 3 things those were the only 3 things I threw out. The only 3 things I threw out. That's it. Real simple. The only 3 things. Okay. Well, obviously, I'm talking about this because I did not get any of the 3 things. There was no Monkeys, there was no Bat Out of Hell 2, and obviously there was no AC/DC tickets. So let's run through the gamut of the gifts. Okay. First of all, I'm gonna tell you who gets a trophy, who gets a pass in not getting me the Monkeys and the Bat Out of Hell and the AC/DC. The Diva gets a pass, because she bought me this book called The Movement. If you watch the show that Jeff Lane and I always talk about, Nathan For You, it's on Comedy Central. You could see it on Hulu. All 3 seasons now. They just signed for the 4th season. The best show on television. Let me just say it. If you watch that show, you will understand what The Movement is. Now, when I opened this, there was a big pop because there was an entire episode around this book that I really didn't think existed, but it really existed. So this tells me the Diva, she does the homework. She knows I love the Nathan show. She finds out that this book is a real thing, and she gets the book. That's an A for creativity as far as I'm concerned. Honestly, that's better than the Monkeys, Bat Out of Hell 2. AC/DC tickets would have been a little better, but I'll give her an A. I'll give her an A for creativity and effort. Now we get to the Renaissance Man. And listen, I do take this into consideration. VJ does not make a lot of money. He busts his rear end. He's the hardest worker in the family, I think. Does not make a lot of money, has a very limited budget. So there's very little he can work with. But listen, the Monkey album is $4. So like, it's not like I'm asking for a $100 item here. The Monkey album is $4 plus shipping. Okay. Granted, he doesn't have a computer. He doesn't have the internet. He's got to go through to the library. He's got to go through the whole to-do to order the album. But still, I wasn't, because of his circumstances, I wasn't asking for a gift that cost a lot of money. Here's what VJ got. Newman from Seinfeld. And I got to tell you, I'm happy with this. This is an acceptable gift. Listen, this was more money than Monkeys. Probably not as much as Bat Out of Hell. And, AC/DC was just not in he just could not afford that. So he knows I like Seinfeld. He knows I like Newman. And here's another little thing that gave him extra points. He gave me 2 gifts. And he said, Dad, you got to open the little one first, and then you got to open the second one. I opened the little one first, and it was a chunky chocolate bar. As soon as I saw it was a chunky, I knew he got me this Newman statue. Because if you know your Seinfeld history, you know that Newman likes chunkies. So I give him a pass with this. He gets the pass. All right. All right, let's talk about my wife, Amy, and her gifts, to be honest with you. Amy is not, okay, she's not really computer literate. She doesn't really, she's like me. She's not she can go online and order things, but it would be very confusing to her, like it is to me. So like I can understand her like just sidestepping, ordering me anything online. She's never done that. She's also not the type that she doesn't like going in record stores like me. So she's not going to go from record store to look for these 2 records that I'm looking for. Same thing with the AC/DC tickets. She's got to go online. She's got to order them. It's a whole to do. It's not going to happen. So what she usually buys me gifts that are practical. And I understand this because these are gifts that I wouldn't buy for myself. And somebody needs to buy you the gifts that you wouldn't buy for yourself because there's other toys that you want. So I got, you can see over here, I got the Amy Winehouse album. Which I had already received once and spitefully returned because I knew my son VJ bought it for me because it was the most inexpensive record. So I returned that to get another record. And then, you know, a year later, I'm like, why did I return Amy Winehouse? So hold on a second. Let me just kill this. So she got me the album because she knew I wanted the album. She got me that. She got me a new trimmer that I needed. She got me a new shaver because she hates the beard. So that was a hint to shave the beard, which I'm not going to shave the beard. So I probably won't use the razor that much. She got me some cologne, which I don't buy for myself. I go to the dollar store and buy cologne, and it smells putrid. So she got me some cologne, which was good. I would not buy that for myself. She got me Batman pajamas, which I will sleep in and I will wear on the show, and I would not buy them for myself. So she gets a pass. All right. Here's who doesn't get a pass. My son Will comes in from Atlanta with his fiance, Molly. I have to call him her fiance now. I can't say girlfriend anymore. My wife gets all upset. So him and I go out Christmas shopping, and he tells me, Dad, you know, Molly and I getting married, yada, yada, yada. I can't afford to buy you and Mom Christmas presents. Okay, listen, on the surface, I have no problem with that whatsoever, even though I know, let's call a spade a spade. He works full-time. Molly works full-time. I know the both of them combined make more money than me and my wife combined right now. I know that is a fact. But you know what? I'll take the wedding excuse. I got no issue with the wedding excuse. Okay. So we like going to this store, and it's a hike, so we don't go that often. It's about 45 minutes away. It's called Trade Smart. Here's why we like going to Trade Smart. It's just an unbelievable store. They have every action figure in the world. They have comic books. They have records. They have CDs. They have VHS tapes. They have DVDs. They have books. It's a huge store. The big expensive superhero statues, everything. I go in this store and I could literally spend hours in this store. It's my favorite store. But also a good thing about the store is when you sell stuff back, they give you a fair amount of credit. So we like gathering our stuff, bringing it there. They'll give us nice credit, and then we'll buy new items. Okay, well, so now my son's got, says, okay, I need money for the wedding. I got to save money for the wedding. So now he's gathering all his old stuff to bring to Trade Smart. And like there were a lot of old seasons of South Park. I mean, a bunch of old stuff he's getting together because he's going to bring them to Trade Smart. So now I'm thinking to myself, okay, good for him. You know what? He's selling his old stuff, so he can get some money to put towards his wedding. Maybe $100, whatever it is, it'll help the kid out with his wedding. Okay, so he goes to Trade Smart. He trades all the stuff in. Here was the first red flag. He doesn't get money for the stuff that he trades in. He gets credit. So I think he got about $31 in credit now. Didn't get the cash that he so desperately needed. Got the credit. So now I'm just sitting there and I'm saying, not for anything. The guy doesn't have any money to buy me a Christmas present because he's got to save for his wedding, but he just got $31 in credit. So I'm kind of sitting back and I'm kind of like, keep in mind, please, he's 28 years old. We're not talking about an 18-year-old kid. So I'm sitting back and I'm like, okay, how is he going to spend? I was very interested to see how he was going to spend this credit, right? So he goes in there to Trade Smart, blah, 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 and he's on the hunt for one item. He's looking for one item and one item only. And that's the original 3 episodes of Star Wars on Blu-ray. That's what he's looking for. Now, while he's going to clerk to hunt this thing down, I'm saying to myself, I didn't ask for the original 3 episodes of Star Wars. You know, maybe he's getting it for his brother. I have no idea what he's doing. Finally, they find one copy of it for him. And I think it was a $30 item. It was almost like a wash. So he buys it. So I nonchalantly say, oh, you know, who are you giving that to? He looks at me and says, I'm not giving this to anybody. This is mine. I want this. I got this for me. So my first instinct is to kind of call him out on this and say, wait a minute. Christmas is in 2 days. You have no money to buy me a gift. You trade stuff in for credit, and you buy you Star Wars and me nothing. But I'm like, you know what? Very shallow. I give him a pass. Maybe he wants this Star Wars. Well, the rest of the vacation after that, he goes on an absolute spending binge on himself. We're going to record store to record store. He's buying records for himself. He's buying the fiance a book that she wants. When all was said and done, he spent close to $100 on himself. And he went out. He bought a 4th Star Wars movie, The Sith. So he bought 4 Star Wars movies. He bought about 5 different albums. When all was said and done, he spent a good $100 on himself. I got no Christmas present. And here's another. I'm going to let the cat out of the bag about something. VJ gave me a list of what he wanted. And one of the things he wanted on the list was Sticky Fingers by the Rolling Stones. So now keep in mind, I didn't get a gift. My wife didn't get a gift, but Will bought for my son and my daughter, which I'm on board with that. I'd rather them get a gift before me. So I was cool with that. So I wasn't able to get Sticky Fingers for VJ. So I told Will, VJ wants Sticky Fingers. So we go into a store and we find it, and it didn't have a price tag on it. And I know, listen, Sticky Fingers is $20 used. I mean, I know that without a doubt, especially if it's got the authentic zipper. You know what I'm talking about. So there was no price on it. And there was a young girl working the desk, and I knew she was clueless. The owner was not there. So I brought it up. I said, listen, there's no price on this, blah, blah, blah. She turns around and says $7. This is an absolute steal. This is a $20 album. It was in great shape. This is an absolute steal. So I go to Will. I said, bro, $7. She'll give us the album for $7. Buy it for your brother. He wants this. It's on his list. So sure enough, Will runs to the counter, lays down the $7, like he just freaking robbed the Brinks truck. And now he has Sticky Fingers. And he's still looking for other albums. And I'm like, what are you looking for? You got the album. You give it to your brother. Let's go. He turns around and he goes, no, yeah, I'm keeping this album. I'm not giving it to VJ. I'm keeping this album. I'm like, wait a minute. I told you your brother had the album on the list. Get him the album. I got you the price of $7 working this hoochie coo over here. You mean to tell me you're going to keep that album now and buy him something else he never even asked for? He goes, yeah, I'm going to keep this album. All I could think about through this whole ordeal was, again, I'm going to go back to Seinfeld, because all I could think about through this whole ordeal was, remember the episode when Seinfeld buys his father a Cadillac? Because his father wanted a Cadillac his entire life. So Jerry buys him the Cadillac, and then he goes to Vista del Boca, and he gives him the Cadillac, the old man. Remember that episode? And I'm sitting here, and I'm saying, you know what? I don't expect my son to buy me a Cadillac. I mean, that is a little much. AC/DC tickets, a little much. Monkeys 1967 live, manageable. $4 on eBay, not a lot to ask for, especially when he's spending $100 on himself at Christmas time. So if I have to get the pecking order straight, here's the pecking order. I'm putting Annie on top with The Movement, which was very creative, very original idea. I'm putting VJ in second because of effort. The Chunky was a nice touch. I'll put my wife in third because it was the expected. It was things I need that I would never buy for myself. So I knew what I was getting. That's cool. Will is absolutely buried. He is. I'm putting Yogi in fourth. Who doesn't even understand the concept of Christmas or what Christmas means. He just, he doesn't even, he can't even comprehend why there's a tree in the house. Am I supposed to pee on this tree? What am I supposed to do? I'm putting him fourth. Will, my oldest son, fifth. So low on the list of what I got for Christmas, it's not even funny. My birthday is coming up January 24th. And I'll tell you this. Will is the only one in the family that listens to the podcast. So he's going to go back and he's going to hear the podcast now. He's going to hear this. He's going to have all this documentation of everything that his father said. Okay? January 24th is my birthday. You have what is today? The 30th, 24 and 2. You got 26 days to make up for this disaster. Listen, it was an absolute disaster as far as I'm concerned. You have 26 days to make up for it. I still have not gotten Monkey 66. I still have not gotten a Bat Out of Hell 2. And I sure as hell have not gotten AC/DC tickets. And as a matter of fact, the AC/DC concert is February 8th, about 2 weeks after my birthday. So let's see, I started this whole thing saying I believe in second chances. I believe in forgiveness. I believe in giving people, another opportunity. That's it. He's got it. It's out on the table. Let's see how he does with it. So that's it for this edition of Bucket Full of Chicken Necks. If I don't talk to you beforehand, listen, man, have a great, happy, healthy, safe new year. The schedule's going to be, as usual. Tomorrow, Jeff and myself will shoot Lions, Tigers, Bears, and Dirt. Not sure when it will be put up, but I promise you, as I always do, you will not miss a show. So, beloved brand, have a great new year. Have a healthy new year. Spend it with your family. Be safe. That's the most important thing. And I'll see you on the other side. Take care, everybody.
The people want to hear from me, Rob Van Dam.
Timeline, the history of ECW, the series that retells hardcore history, presents Rob Van Dam, covering 1999.
I looked at WWE as a sellout. Like, I didn't want to go there.
This no-holds-barred interview with superstar RVD reveals all about ECW in 99.
Okay, drank it with a beer. What was that? He said, morphine.
This and more spellbinding editions of the series available at shootinterviews.com.